Hello there, my friends, and welcome back to another episode of TA with McKay. My name is McKay, and in today's episode, we're going to do something just a little bit different that we haven't really done before on the channel, but I do feel like it's that point in the bear market where it's time to start considering our mid and long-term holds. And why would I say something like that, you might ask? Well, it's my own opinion at the end of the day, so take it as you will, or with a grain of salt, so to speak, but my own opinion is that the low is in. I do not believe that we are going to see anything below 15,500 in this bear market outside of some crazy black swan event, but I also don't believe we're going to break 30K in the near future as well. I think we're in the boring part of the bear market where we're going to generally range between 20 and 25K. I do believe we'll peek our head above it at some point, maybe even in the near future to something like 27, 28K. I also believe it might be in the cards to revisit 17 or 18K. That being said, if we're looking at things from a macro level, which is kind of the purpose of today's video, I do believe that while anytime that we're down here in the low 20s, mid 20s, especially anytime that we dip our head below 20, these are good areas to start looking at the coins that are your very favorite, coins with strong fundamentals, coins that you believe will perform in the next bull market, and I believe it's a good time to start accumulating those coins, especially if you can get them at areas of support. So in today's video, we're going to kick off a series where I'm going to talk about the top 10 coins that I will be watching and accumulating during this bear market as we approach what I believe to be the upcoming bull market. Now, a lot of these coins we'll be talking about in the upcoming videos will be coins that my Telegram group are big on. In fact, the majority of them are going to come from their research, coins that they've put the time and effort in to believe in the fundamentals, and I will, of course, do the TA side of it, check out the chart, talk to you guys about areas that I would look to buy, potentially retest areas, breakouts, all the things that I typically talk about on my channel, but we'll also discuss a lot of the fundamentals that make these coins worthy of being on our top 10 list. Now, before we dive into today's content and the first coin that I'll be watching on our top 10 list, let me quickly run a promo vid for the giveaway that I'm running alongside with my recent partnership with BITGET. We ran one this past week that just ended. That was 10 users getting $10 each by using the link in the description to sign up and create a BITGET account. And we're going to do another giveaway now that's worth $250 total, 5 different winners. Let me go ahead and run that now. Yes, that is correct, my friends. We are doing our second giveaway on the channel since our recent partnership with the crypto exchange known as BitGet. This one's going to be pretty simple. There are 2 rules. Rule number 1, you need to use the link in my description to create a BitGet account. For those of you that have done this in the past, no need to do it again. You're already halfway qualified for this giveaway. Number 2, you're going to upload $500 to that account. You don't necessarily need to trade with it right away. You just need to upload it to the account, and between setting up the account using my link and adding the $500, you will qualify for the giveaway. Then on Wednesday, March 22nd, I'm going to be drawing 5 winners that qualified by following the rules that I just previously mentioned, using the link in the description, as well as uploading $500. And those 5 winners are each going to get 50 USDT added straight to their BitGet account that they can then use to start trading with. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you's support. Good luck, and thank you, BitGet. Alright, with all that out of the way, it's time to dive into today's content. Now, this coin that we're going to be talking about in today's video should sound very familiar to you because I just kind of gave a sneak peek or a general introduction to it a couple of days ago in a video, and that coin is going to be Veracity, ticker VRA. It's definitely a fan favorite as far as our Telegram group's concerned, and so why would it not be the first coin that we discuss out of our top 10 on the list? Now, if that sounds interesting to you, please remember to like and subscribe, and let's go. It's TA with MK. It's TA with MK. Now, I'm not here to suggest that we have a bull market right around the corner. I do believe that sometime in the next 6 to 12 months, we will see the beginnings of that bull market. That's just my opinion. However, that could easily change. It could be another 2 years down the road. I mean, there's a lot that has to happen before we can really declare that we're in a bull market. But what I can say with some level of confidence is that we are in another, level of consolidation, or at least a phase of consolidation. Now, if it were to take as long as it did last time, you could be looking at something like another year. I think we're about 300 days into this current consolidation phase. Maybe we don't see any major breakout on the VRA price till sometime in early or mid 2024. But that being said, what I believe is we are in a consolidation phase, which basically means anytime we're inside of this range, it's a good area to DCA in long term if you believe in this coin. And the reason I say that is is to the downside. You know, let's just say you went all in at this price, which I do not suggest that you do. Of course, dollar cost average is always the way to go. But let's just say that you went it all in right now and it were to revisit kind of the bottom side of this current range it's playing in. You know, that's around a 75% drop down to the bottom side of the range, which of course could be devastating if you were, you know, all in on it. But that being said, if you do believe that this coin will eventually reach its all-time high again, well, from there, you know, you've got nearly a 1,200, just over a 1,200%, you know, potential gain, which is over a 10x. Now, the majority of the content on my channel, at least the TA-based content, is based on, you know, shorter time frame trades. Sometimes I do mid or swing trades, but most always it's based on trades where I talk about the risk to reward ratio, you know, where you enter, where you exit, invalidations, and so forth. But on something like this, where we're talking about more long-term potential, you know, it's not something that I would even necessarily put a stop loss on, you know, other than maybe down below, you know, the bottom side of the range. So if we were to kind of clear this up a bit, you know, you were to start DCAing in where we're at now, well, when the bottom side of the range is back down here just about 0020-ish. So yes, you could DCA if the price were to come back down to like the 45 range. That'd be a good area to pick it up. If it came back down to just above the 20 range, that would be a golden opportunity, in my opinion, to pick it up again. And then, you know, if there were to be a black swan event and you just wanted to preserve or save what capital you could, yes, you could put a stop loss back down somewhere below the bottom side of the range, which would be somewhere down anywhere below, you know, 0.00, you know, 17.5-ish, right? That being said, I believe as long as we're below kind of this area that was acting as support during the last bull market, which is around 00, you know, we'll just call it 90-ish. Well, that's the area that was resistance. It was support there twice. It was resistance here, resistance here. You know, anytime we're below that, which we basically have been outside of this really short time frame here, which happened earlier in February, you know, this is the areas you should be looking at potentially accumulating this coin long term, and especially anytime it revisits support, which if I zoom in a little bit better on this chart, you can kind of see the few areas that I have listed as support. I'll go ahead and add one more right along in here. So you kind of have this area at about 0.0045, and you have another area at about 0.0055. Anywhere in that zone, which is between the 45 and the 55, would be a great area to accumulate. Of course, like I said, if it dips lower, this would be a very good area below here to accumulate if it decides to retest. This would likely happen if Bitcoin were to retest somewhere around 17 or 18K, you know, revisit the lows essentially, or put in a higher low on its own chart. You would definitely see VRA come back down here and revisit those areas, and to me that would just represent kind of like the buying opportunity potentially of a lifetime as it relates to VRA. Now, of course, I will put out updated videos in the near future talking really entirely about the TA as it relates to VRA, you know, the areas that I'm looking to buy, areas that I am buying, you know, areas that I'd be looking to sell, you know, in the next bull market, you know, targets up here along the way if we do in fact break out in the next year or two and start heading back up to these higher prices. But to me, that's not really that important to talk about right now. I mainly just wanted to put it on your radar that this coin, if you believe in it, which I do, a few members in the group that I'm a part of in the Telegram group, again, link in the description, we're big fans of this coin. And anytime you're seeing a coin that's 90 some odd % down, you know, that represents a good buying opportunity for mid and long term, at least in my opinion. The next thing that I want to spend a little bit of time talking about, the Veracity is working on, is something that they call their VERAVIEWs or VERAVIEWs. It's an ad tech platform rollout, proof of view is what they call it. And right here, I wanted to kind of just briefly read a little bit about it so you can kind of understand what it is. It says, what is the VERAVIEWs ads platform? Well, essentially what it is it tells you here, it says the current $400 billion ad tech system is broken. People hate ads. I can definitely agree with that. Bots watch ads. Nearly half of the ad spend is watched by bots. So kind of if you think about it this way, I'm sure a lot of you obviously are YouTube watchers. You're watching my video clearly. And you know YouTube pops up a lot of ads. And the whole idea behind those ads is that people watch them, you know, click on them, watch them, and that's kind of how YouTube pays the content creators, hoping to generate people to buy the product that the ad's about, so on and so forth. You guys kind of get the point. Well, what they've discovered is that the majority, like the high majority of these these views on these ads are watched by bots, not by real human beings. So what it ends up equating to is a huge waste of time and money. You know, obviously YouTube or whatever platform it is may end up paying their creators money for ads that were being watched by bots. So of course that's kind of counterproductive, waste of money. What I mean by waste of time is typically the platform, or like let's just say YouTube in this case, to try to avoid doing that, they have to go through an extensive process where they eventually weed out which views were real, which views were fake, and they have to delay the payment to the content creators, sometimes 3 and upwards of 9 months from what I've read, before they actually get paid on those views. Well, since time is money, and that sounds like a waste of a lot of time, essentially it is just all a waste of a lot of money. Whether it's wasted money for the content creator who is waiting around for, payment, expecting a certain amount, obviously gets a lot less, or of course the actual platform itself that's making the payment. So what this VERAVIEW is aiming to do, it says the incentives to watch ads are based on consumption, which has led to a race to the bottom of quality and profitability. This has left the industry with a lot of low quality content, which dwindling CPMs, which it shows stands for cost per 1,000 impressions, of which nearly half the views are fraudulent. This is coupled with increasing content supply, making market prices drop further. Facebook and Google collect 70% of all the digital ad revenue and control the demand side platforms, browsers, mediocre content, as well as control the revenue streams of most video publishers. Blah, 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 blah. So essentially, in a nutshell, as I explained previously, what VERAVIEW is attempting to do is to weed out these fraudulent views, right, on these ads. And they have their own technology, which of course we're not going to dive too deep into in this particular video, but you can visit this website. I will leave the link in the description and kind of read through this yourself as to exactly how they do that. But what I wanted to read to you quickly too is just this PDF. It's a case study where they were using this VERAVIEW technology and collecting data essentially. If you look down here where it says scope, and I'll just briefly read what it says here. It says, during the last 6 months, VERAVIEW's provided a national news outlet based in the MENA region with the VERAVIEW's advertising stack, with built-in invalid traffic detection and the patented proof of view module. The publisher sought to significantly increase the value of its video programmatic campaigns whilst simultaneously reducing its fraudulent traffic. Exactly what we're talking about. They're trying to push out these ads and verify that real people are actually watching them. It says, during the study, 100% of the publisher's video inventory was monetized through the VERAVIEW's advertising stack. Data from the publisher's previous 6 months of campaigns utilizing their pre-existing advertising stack was used as a comparison. Basically, they took what they previously were doing versus using VERAVIEW, and they came up with these results that I'm about to share. So here's a look at the results of that study, which I found kind of fascinating. It says that the unidentified fraud reduced from 23.2%, so just over 23%, all the way down to 1%. So they nearly eliminated all of the bot views, so to speak. Over 40 million proof of view impressions were recorded. Just below that, it says just over 33,000 IP addresses were identified as fraudulent, but less than 48 hours for full VERAVIEW's integration. So I guess that was just a pro, basically say it took less than 48 hours to fully integrate this VERAVIEW, which was able to drop their fraudulent views from just over 23% all the way down to 1%. The key takeaways of the study were that they reduced it from 23 to 1%. Over 96% of the invalid traffic was identified and eliminated. So without really reading any further into that, really to me, the biggest key takeaway from this is the potential of some major mainstream adoption. What I mean by that is, yes, maybe you as a regular person, this doesn't really affect you too much because you are a real person. When you click on an ad, you may or may not watch it. That's not really what matters at the end of the day. But if you wanted to invest in this coin long term, look at the kind of problem this could solve for major platforms like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, so on and so forth, right? I will, of course, give you guys more updates on this VERAVIEW technology in the near future, but I just wanted to put it on your radar as kind of one of the major pros, as well as to why I am bullish on this coin, of course, long term. The next thing that I want to hop on over and talk about here as it relates to veracity, or VRA. We're on CoinGecko.com, just a page that I often go to look up coins. I've got it searched, and we've got Veracity's page pulled up here. We can see that its market cap right now is just over $70 million. It's had a 24-hour trading volume of just over $40 million, which is pretty impressive. And its fully diluted valuation is worth over $758 million. Now, I brought you to this page to just kind of show you some of those statistics real quick, and then also to go over here to their website, their Twitter page first, where it says community. I'm going to go ahead and click on Twitter, and one of their major developments, which was listed on their roadmap for 2023, they've just completed recently. If you look right here, they have a pinned tweet from 11 hours ago that says, "The VERACARD is here. In association with Damex, UK residents now can sign up for a VERACARD." And basically all this is, a lot of different crypto coins have done this in the past. They're not the first ones to do this, but essentially what it is they've partnered with Visa, and you can order if you're a UK resident. Now, they did mention on their website and as well as Twitter that they'll have more countries to come in the near future, but as of right now, any UK resident can apply for this card. And basically, if you're staking this coin, which means you're earning, passive income or passive VRA tokens over time, you can use this card to spend that anywhere you'd like. Essentially just like regular credit card with regular money, or a debit card, I guess more in this case, is you could go somewhere like Walmart and you could use this VERACARD to purchase items using your VRA staked tokens. And in doing so, of course, they have a rewards program similar to the same thing we do here in the United States, at least as it relates to like the cash back programs with credit cards, where you buy groceries and you get money back for future groceries. In this case, you're using your staked VRA tokens to purchase something at Walmart, and you're going to accumulate even more VRA tokens. And so it's kind of a win-win no matter what way you look at it. So if you're bullish on VRA, in some ways it's better to use this than it is to use your own regular credit cards, just because you're going to accumulate more and more VRA over time. And of course, we'll have future updates on this VERACARD feature. As of right now, it's only available to UK residents. I myself am located in the United States, so it's not something I can take advantage of now, but I look forward to the day that I can. And then just to finish up today's video on veracity or VRA, we want to take one more quick look at their roadmap just to point out a couple of things. Now, for 2023, whether it's Q1, Q2, Q3, or Q4, you can see this entire year is being spent really trying to design, update, and push out their products of VERAVIEW, their Vera wallet, which is all tied in with the Vera Pay and the Vera card that we just spoke about. One thing I want to point out is if you click down here where it says View 2022 Roadmap, it will load up the roadmap from last year. And I like to see that they followed through with everything they had planned for the year, because you have to understand that these roadmaps typically come out at the beginning of the year, or at least really close to the beginning of the year. Sometimes they even come out at the end of the previous year. But the idea is they're giving those that are following their project or their coin an idea of what improvements and things they have on the horizon. And last year, a lot of it was all this esports stuff, Vera esports. They started working on their proof of view. And then they started working a little bit on their VERAVIEW. That's when they kind of launched the actual portal or the idea of it, which of course led to that case study that I showed you guys a little bit ago. But you could see that they were able to go through with a check mark on every single thing they had going in 2022, 2021. So it's not a bad idea on some of these coins that you're looking at long term to kind of see what have they done, what has been their journey along the way, what has been the reason the price action has maybe went up or down during the course of their existence. That way you can get a better idea as you go to 2023. Are they kind of stuck in the mud working on the same ideas and concepts? Or are they constantly improving, which I do believe VRA is. And I really think this VERAVIEW thing is going to be something that is going to get major mainstream adoption from some of these bigger platforms. And that alone, of course, has my interest. Now, just some kind of final thoughts on VRA as I finish up or wrap up today's video. We're looking at the weekly chart here on KuCoin. I just wanted to point out, strictly from a TA perspective, which is clearly what my channel is primarily been focused on up to this point, although we are trying to change that some going forward, mix in a little bit of fundamentals and some of these other things. But just from a TA perspective here on the weekly chart, you can see that we were in this long downward falling wedge type of a consolidation. And then we saw this big spike, and this was the biggest spike in volume that we had seen in basically all of VRA's history. And it happened right after the breakout, clear back down here at about 0.0030, right? You saw this giant spike to the upside, which saw growth of around 160% or over 160%. And the biggest takeaway I have from that is that area that we broke out from, it was clearly an area of interest for buyers. And what I would imagine would be kind of the area to look for on any major pullbacks out of the market would be kind of where this whole previous accumulation was happening before this breakdown, which is this weekly support line at about 0040. Now, clearly that we have a long ways to fall from that. That would take something like Bitcoin losing 20K and probably retesting somewhere between 17 and 18K for that to happen, and I'm not necessarily suggesting that does happen, but that would be kind of the area that I would look to as being your major area to pick up this coin, you know, for a long-term hold. Outside of that, I would just, anytime we visit back down around the 60, I wouldn't mind picking up some there. Anytime we retest this 21 moving average, which is this white moving average on my chart, anytime we're down between 50 and 60, that's 00, 50, and 60 that is, to me, these are buying areas or buy the dip areas. And just my personal opinion, again, doesn't mean this will for sure happen. At the end of the day, you do your own research, figure out if this is a coin that you believe in, and, you know, go from there. That way you can sleep at night, not taking advice from some random YouTuber. But I personally believe that not only will this coin match its all-time high sometime in the next couple of years, maybe sooner, honestly, if the bull market takes off, I think it will exceed it. But even if at the very least it just reaches or comes close to reaching its previous all-time high, like we talked about from where price is now, you're looking at over a 10, 11, almost a 12x in potential gains. And if it were to do something beyond that, you know, who knows? Could be 20, could be 30x. And again, that was Veracity, ticker VRA. That was the first coin out of the top 10 coins that we're going to be talking about in my upcoming videos of coins that we're looking, when I say we, I mean myself and the members of my Telegram group, link in the description, are looking to accumulate for the long term. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end of the video. I love and appreciate each and every one of you for your support. As always, feel free to leave a comment, and if you haven't already, please remember to like and subscribe. We'll catch you in the next one. It's